7 points from Anthony Davis. AD is the NBA's leading scorer with 32.6 points per game. LeBron finished with 20 points and 11 assists. UCLA's women's basketball team won their first game of the season with a 7-point win over Louisville. Lauren Betts led the Bruins with 18 points and 13 rebounds. You too can be an impact player today. All you need to do is go to your nearest polling place and vote. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Can I confess something to you? As a longtime California voter, I am so over our ballot proposition process. So many ballot measures, so little time. Too often our so-called leaders don't really lead, and too often many of these ballot measures are misleading. I mean, does yes or no mean I'm voting for it or against it? Talk about a ball of confusion. But here's what I know for sure. I am abundantly clear about yes on Measure A, which would create thousands of new affordable housing units and expand drug and mental health treatment. Every day I step outside our radio station here in Leimert Park, I see what happens when we neglect, when we avoid addressing these critical issues in our beloved community. It is quite candidly a shame and a disgrace. And no, it's not just you. I am personally calling City Hall and care agencies routinely as well. Is this the Tavis Smiley? Yes, it is. I refuse to let the suffering of our people get rendered invisible. Frankly, the reason I'm talking to you about this right now on the radio is because I have not seen the kind of leadership I had expected and hoped to see to get Measure A passed. I guess my hope needs some help. So, I'm sharing this message with you with the hope that you will do the right thing for them and for us. And just so you don't get it twisted, them is us. Yes on A. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American president of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us. And that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no
KBLA Talk 1580. I could just like go have breakfast and let this whole song play. It's that serious, okay? It is that serious down ballot this year. It is that serious top of the ticket this year. Happy Election Day. We gonna be all right. Maybe we should have played that. However it goes, we will be all right. Our ancestors have survived and thrived under much worse conditions than these. That said, family, delegation, friends, and frenemies, let's get out the vote. That is the number one job of this day, is to actually go vote. If you've already voted, as I have, executed my voting plan, then maybe you can inspire a friend, an enemy, a family member, a cousin, somebody you know from around the block. The polls are open, and they will be open till 8 o'clock tonight. They are everywhere, and you can go vote at any vote center. LAvote.gov if you're in Los Angeles. You can go to your Secretary of State's, wherever office, wherever you are. I see Molly Bella in the chat. She says she voted for Michelle Chambers because I was in the YouTube chat, which is at KBLA 1580 on YouTube, doing my little electioneering. The views and opinions expressed by me are not those of station management, blah, blah, blah. Yes on 6, no on 36. Yes on 33. Gascon for DA. Michelle Chambers for Senate 35. If you want to know my thoughts, it's on my Instagram under DiPrima Radio. I did tweet some of them. But yeah, call me. Let's talk about it. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to inspire. I did not know what Dr. Gerald Horne was talking about as far as the private prison companies betting big on Trump and feeling that he will win and that the mass deportations are going to be a big profit driver for the prisons, as will the incarceration of protesters and others. By the way, KBLA 1580 is live on election night with expert analysis, notable guests, keen insights, plus your phone calls. Attorney Ariva Martin and Dr. Nicordelai Corte are on the East Coast, live from the Kamala Harris Election Night headquarters, which is at Howard University. Me and Tavis Smiley will be holding it down in the studio here on the left coast, Leimert Park, Africatown, USA. Our live coverage starts at 4 Pacific time with all kinds of political insiders and our regular contributors, including Adrian Shropshire, John Wood Jr., Dion Raymond, and many more. Starts at 4 Pacific time. We are your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580. Going to Howard, calling me from Watts. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. Good rising to you. I want to talk to Dr. Gerald Horne about something.
You'll have to call back next time.
I know, but the question I was going to ask him, if Trump happens to be president, what wars will we be involved in? He probably won't support Ukraine, but he'll probably support Israel. It might be another hot spot around. And what I didn't like about Trump was that when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, he had that big hoopla about that. I didn't like that because we've been in Afghanistan for 20 years.
Not only that, Trump is the one who made the deal with the Taliban before he left office. And then Joe Biden was left to deal with the crappy terms of negotiation that old boy did, and then gets blamed by old boy for the things that he did. Like, that's classic Trump, make a mess and then blame the person who's trying to clean up your mess for making the mess. So I think it's great that you see through that. And, Donald Trump claims that there were no wars during his time. Peace is one of the things that the MAGA folks are bragging about. But look, he's the one that fast-tracked bombs to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates to slaughter civilians in Yemen. He's the one that was playing chicken with North Korea, risking nuclear war to the United States. He's the one that ramped up the fighting with Iran by pulling out of the deal that President Barack Obama made with Iran to stop their nuclear program. He's the one that was creating exacerbating the problems with Venezuela, right? By threatening regime change there, which is part of what caused all of the immigration of Venezuelans here. He's the one that, ramped up military spending to all-time highs and close to all-time highs. And he's the one that moved the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, exacerbating the conflict there. And he's always talking smack. He's the one cheering on Vladimir Putin for invading Ukraine and telling Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel to get the job finished. So his claims of being the president who brought peace because everyone was afraid of his strength are his usual big, steaming, stinky pile of BS. Howard?
About that, yes. I was just wondering about that. You just put it right in the head. I was thinking about in terms of Germany in World War II, that we might be involved in wars on many fronts, and then we just put out Afghanistan and stuff, and that's what Germany messed up. They were fighting too many people at one time, and then they had that thing in Stalingrad when they got froze out, basically. So something's going to happen to America. Might have a resounding defeat like Germany. That's what I'm afraid of. Then we have to pull ourselves out.
I mean, the other thing about Trump, like, I think VP Kamala Harris put it really well, which is that he is, world leaders know that he's not the brightest bulb in the lamp, and they know that he is very susceptible to flattery. So he's easy to manipulate, and that is problematic when it comes to world peace. So I think, his self-aggrandizing talk about being the president for world peace is, like many of his other claims, just as Joe Biden would say, malarkey. Yeah. Good to hear from you, Howard. Did you vote? You ready?
I voted. I came on. Yes, I put my stick on my shirt so I let people know I did vote.
All right. Good job.
I vote for dog catcher. I always vote. I'm coming from the generation where I remember those civil rights workers were slaughtered in Mississippi. Those three guys. I remember that. I vote for dog catcher. Voting is very important.
Yeah.
Very important. And not only that, we got to hold our politicians to the fire. That's what we really got to do.
Yep. Well, that starts, right? I mean, restarts, amps up tomorrow. Or maybe we'll take a one-day break and start it on Thursday. It is true that I feel like it's almost like the Biden-Harris administration is listening to this radio station, and they probably are. As Tavis said, he got some talking points for the DNC. I didn't find that shocking. Everyone sends us talking points. We have a right to ignore them. But my point is that we've been saying, why don't we focus on what we want, what we're voting for? With the Kamala Harris, you're voting for, help for home care for elders, for older Americans, Medicare, Medi-Cal, Medicaid, helping to pay for in-home care, which it doesn't do now. You're voting to keep Social Security strong and vibrant. Trump has already said he'll slash it. Project 2025 intends to slash it. And even though he's denying it now, he said in an interview that he's looking at Social Security. And economists have said he will bankrupt it within 6 years. So we're voting to keep Social Security strong and vibrant because lots of older Americans, including probably your mom and grandma, rely on it to keep them off the streets. It's not going to give an extravagant lifestyle, but it may keep a roof over your head in their elder years. Older Americans are falling into houselessness at a rate higher than anyone else. We are voting for the child tax credit. Hopefully she'll get Congress to be able to pass that, to at least have the advocacy of a president to get 4 million American children out of poverty, which is what we did, out of hunger. We did it during 2020, thanks to Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and others. And we can do it again. And I know that VP Harris intends to do it. We are voting for an administration that acknowledges and takes steps to fight the climate emergency. An administration that is not in denial about what is needed to stop the slide of our planet into being an uninhabitable place that cannot sustain human life. Like we are voting for the continuation of the Biden-Harris bipartisan infrastructure deal, which has a lot of climate justice measures to shore up our infrastructure against the climate emergency and to bring in green technology so we can stop destroying our planet. And I feel like these closing arguments that we saw yesterday, mostly in Pennsylvania, by Harris and her surrogates, are embracing the joyful warrior, are embracing the image of what it is that we are voting for, not just what we're voting against. Meanwhile, Trump spiraling into his the skinny version of his dark doom and gloom vision of America and the world, angry about everything from microphones to crowd sizes, just ripping everyone and insulting everyone and bent on vengeance and unfocused. So that's the good news. The good news is that I think the Harris campaign is getting the message. They slung their daggers at Team Trump, and now they're back on message with an optimistic, forward-looking vision for unity, for progress, for freedom, for rights. It's a perfect time to call me on this election day, whether you're running for office or you're trying to run through your ballot. 800-920-1580 is the number. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate Black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has a program specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to resolve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you indeed, and you're invited into the conversation, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So while we're all mourning the loss of Quincy Jones, it occurs to me The Guardian reports on an interview that Quincy Jones did about, well, it was about a lot of things, but he was talking about Donald Trump. He was 84 at the time of the interview. He claims he went on a date with Ivanka Trump. She wanted to date him. He was 72 and she was 30-something. Anyway, he said that Trump, he said, I quote, "I used to hang out with him. He's a crazy MF, limited mentally, a megalomaniac, narcissistic. I can't stand him." He also said, he was talking to Vulture, he said, "A symphony conductor knows more about how to lead than most business people, more than Trump does. He doesn't know ish. Someone who knows about real leadership wouldn't have as many people against him as he does. He's an effing idiot." The words of Quincy Jones talking about Donald J. Trump, who, he reportedly spent some time with. And of course, Dr. Gerald Horn had me going down the rabbit hole with that prison stocks talk. I didn't realize this, that when Barack Obama was president, he issued an executive order to phase out the government's use of privately run prisons. And that tanked a lot of these private prison firms like Geo Group and Core Civic. And then when Trump was elected in 2016, it was the biggest day of gains for those prison stocks in history. And so right now, they're all optimistic that he's going to win. They're putting their money there because, well, vote yes on Prop 6. Because, they're planning to put in there and profit from, aside from the immigrants. It's not just the immigrants' family. Wake up and smell the coffee. Let's go to Big Phil, calling us from where Big Phil be at. Good morning.
Good morning. The devil don't sleep. He's busy. You think I'm crazy. Maybe I may be wrong. It's going to be a landslide. I also voted for Michelle Chambers with seeing that Texas store in Hut. They love my shirt, and one of my clients and Bobby Womack on this shirt. But I think he's going to beat him by a landslide. So I'm going to let you guys go. Let's do it, okay?
Okay. So you say Kamala by a landslide, huh? Okay, Big Phil. And we'll see about Michelle Chambers. We know, if I could vote for her, I would. I'm not in her district. But we know that she is outgunned when it comes to the money, the donations, the contributions. And that's because she's not taking oil money, tobacco money, police money. And again, as I talked about earlier in the show, here in California, but not just in California, across the nation, you have corporations stepping into races, and the LA Times did an excellent article on this yesterday, where you have a Democrat against a Democrat, and they're trying to drive out the progressive. We saw that with members of the squad, right, being primaried by supposed Democrats who are centrists or independents, i.e. Republicans disguised as not Republicans, like Nathan Hochman. And then what they can do is they can dump all this money into these races and try to move the agenda away from the progressive policies that are so popular with voters. They're popular with voters, even Republican voters, if you take the label progressive off and just say health care for all or universal basic income or, more investment in mental health and alternatives to incarceration. The American people like that. And then when you put a label on it, then they're like, oh, no, that's woke. Whoa. But the fact is that the Chambers Richardson race is an example of this. You've got a centrist who's in Richardson who's taking tobacco money, et cetera, versus an actual progressive in Michelle Chambers. And so these corporations have stepped in, try to put their thumb on the scale to keep the Democratic Party nice and tame and neutered the way they like them. And I think that's especially relevant here in California because you've got a super majority of Democrats at the state level. So the question becomes, are they really Democrats? Are they dinos, Democrat in name only? Are they Joe Manchins? Or are they Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's? You know what I mean? Are they Kristen Sinema's or are they Ayanna Pressley's? And so so that means we've got to pay attention. It's not just the D by the name. It's who's funding that D. that sounded crazy, but you know what I mean. It's who's funding that Democrat. And are they a progressive? Are they a centrist? I mean, a lot of people were disappointed when they realized Obama was a centrist. I knew that when I voted for him. I wanted him to be president, even though he wasn't as progressive as I am. Kamala Harris is not as progressive as I am. Is she the best option? Yes. And I say that unapologetically. I'm not voting for a lesser of two evils. I don't vote for evil. All people have the potential to do evil or not do evil. All people that are humans. Who can we best negotiate with? Who can we best move? Who at least understands what's going on? Clearly, that's Kamala Harris. When you talk about, Senate District 35 in LA, clearly that's Michelle Chambers. And so when you look at Assembly District 57, clearly that's Sade El-Hawari. And again, you have this guy Efren Martinez, who refused to come on the show both in the primary and the general election, who is called a Democrat, but he's taking the evil money, the dirty money. He's taking the dirty money, the oil money, the cop money, the tobacco money. And why are those big corporations investing in a race between two Democrats? Because they know one Democrat is a corporate Democrat and the other one is actually a progressive. And so if you look at 57, you've got the corporate Democrat, Efren Martinez, versus the progressive Democrat, Sade El-Hawari. And so you got to know the difference between your Democrats, just like you know the difference between your beers. It's all beer. Some of it's good, some of it's trash. So we've got to be really sophisticated this election, because it's not just the title progressive. Like, anyone can call themselves a Democrat. Nathan Hochman. Oh, no, he's an independent with MAGA talking points. Anyone can call themselves a progressive. Eric Garcetti. But you've got to look at the policies. The reality is the policies and following the money will tell you who's actually a progressive Democrat and who's that corporate Dem who's more likely to sell you out, who's more likely to approve and pursue policies that are not in your best interest as a working class person, as a Black person, as a person of color, as a person with children, as a renter, as a progressive, as an advocate for the working class and the poor, as a person who wants to end houselessness in a humane and uplifting way. Yes, on Measure A. The views and opinions expressed on First Things First are not those of station management or anybody else. They're Dominique DiPrima running her mouth, her independent, unbossed, unbought, unbothered mouth, because that's what we do around here. And we're going to be doing it all day and all night, because we will be on live, me, Tavis, Nee, and Ariva, starting at 4 p.m. For your election coverage. We are your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know on Election Day. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump focused on key battleground states as the 2024 campaign concluded. Trump held 4 rallies in 3 states, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Michigan, and Harris spent the day in Pennsylvania holding 5 rallies, ending with an event in Philadelphia with Oprah Winfrey. Georgia Supreme Court ruled in favor of former President Trump, deciding that Cobb County cannot extend the deadline for counting around 3,000 absentee ballots. This overturns a previous judge's ruling that had extended the deadline until Friday. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is telling his supporters not to vote for him. In a final note to voters, the ex-independent candidate has been campaigning for former President Trump. Kennedy said in a video posted on X, "Let's get President Trump back in the White House and me to Washington." And a judge in Philadelphia is ruling that Elon Musk's America PAC may continue with the $1 million giveaway to registered swing state voters. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Black Friday buildup is here at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances, plus save up to $500 when you buy select LG major appliances. Valid 10/24 through 11/5 cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Congratulations to the Clippers. They finally got their first win in their new home, the Intuit Dome, after 4 tries. The Clippers defeated San Antonio Monday night 113-104. Norman Powell led the Clippers with 23 points. The Clippers had to battle back from a disastrous first quarter. They trailed by 26 points at the end of the quarter. The Lakers are 1-3 on their 5-game road trip. They lost to Detroit 115-103 despite getting 37 points from Anthony Davis. AD is the NBA's leading scorer with 32.6 points per game. LeBron finished with 20 points and 11 assists. UCLA's women's basketball team won their first game of the season with a 7-point win over Louisville. Lauren Betts led the Bruins with 18 points and 13 rebounds. You too can be an impact player today. All you need to do is go to your nearest polling place and vote. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is Assemblymember Tina McKenna reminding you to vote for my girl, Sade Alawari, for State Assembly. Sade is a part of our community, and she's the partner I need in Sacramento to help fight for economic justice, affordable housing, health care, and so much more. Sade is just like us. She comes out of our community, and she spent years working in our community, bringing people together. That's why she's endorsed by Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, Supervisor Holly Mitchell, teachers, firefighters, and Planned Parenthood advocates. This is Tina McKenna, and I need you to make a plan to vote and to vote by Tuesday, November the 5th, for Sade Alawari for State Assembly.
Ad paid for by Opportunity PAC, a coalition of teachers, nurses, faculty members, school employees, and public and private labor, healthcare, and environmental organizations. Ad committee's top funders, California Teachers Association, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. The Equinox EV and all-new Equinox, America's best compact SUV for new vehicle quality by J.D. Power, offer both confidence and style to see you through the holiday season. It's easy to see why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Award based on 2024 models for J.D. Power 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards. Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 refinance. Example down payment is 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 12/2/24.
Before running for state senate, Laura Richardson was named one of the most corrupt members of Congress. Guilty on 7 counts of ripping off taxpayers and a pattern of deception trying to cover it up. Richardson is too shady for state senate. For your state senator, frontline nurses, classroom teachers, and Planned Parenthood Advocacy Project, support Democrat Michelle Chambers, a champion for abortion rights, higher wages for workers, and more affordable health care. Democrat Michelle Chambers for state senate.
Ad paid for by nurses and educators supporting Chambers for Senate 2024, sponsored by labor and nonprofit environmental and health organizations. Ad committee's top funders, SEIU California State Council, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
Beloved Entertainment and the Miracle Theater Foundation present Sweet Spot live with KBLA's own Angelique Francis, Sunday, November 17th. Angelique is live on stage featuring storytellers from the community, colorful and provocative, for us and by us, celebrating our strength and our fire. Come hang out with us as we walk through our neighborhoods, even down our dark alleys, because just around the corner, there's laughter, misplaced miracles, unspeakable pain, and yes, forgiveness. It's all happening Sunday, November 17th, 4 p.m. at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood, 226 South Market Street. Last year, audiences raved. Best show in decades. An unforgettable night. Groundbreaking. Sweet Spot Live was thought-provoking and enlightening. Standing ovations begging for more. Please, more. It was a great night. So back by popular demand, it's Sweet Spot Live with Angelique Francis. Get your tickets right now at themiracleinglewood.com. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you in the Sweet Spot.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Be like Muhammad Ali, just rope-a-dope and then punch your way out the corner. Look, we may take some hits today. We may take some setbacks. But when we fight, we win, and we got to show up. So I'm just encouraging you, if you haven't done so, go vote. If you're in Los Angeles, you can go to lavote.gov, and there's a place where you can type in your address, and it'll tell you what vote centers are near you. You can register today at the polling place if you haven't done it yet. The polls are already open. They stay open till 8 o'clock tonight. And as I was saying, we are live with you on election night. That's right. All kinds of experts and special guests, friends of Tavis's, friends of mine. Dr. Nicordelai Corte and attorney Ariva Martin were broadcasting from Howard University, the Kamala Harris election night headquarters. Tavis Smiley and I will be here in the studio. Our coverage starts at 4 p.m. So wherever you're going, if you're party hopping or whatever you might be doing, you can listen to our coverage on your phone with the KBLA app. Listen on your car radio at KBLA 1580, the old AM radio style. We will be with you this night. Let's spend election night together. After all, we are your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580. It's the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. Look, let's get fired up. Let's talk to our neighbor, a friend, our mechanic, our favorite restaurateur, and get folks out to vote. You don't have to vote on everything on the ballot, but at least vote on the key things. And I got a thing or two to say about the reparations voter. This is the home of Freedman Friday. I know it's a Tuesday, but I've got a few things to say about the reparations voter. You might not like it. You might like it. But we're going to go to that right after we go to Jeanette from Inglewood. Good morning, Jeanette.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you so much for taking my call. First of all, I want to ask you a question. Are you guys going to be on YouTube tonight?
Yes, girl. We're going to be on YouTube. Good. In the chat will be going on. Yes, indeed, we are. Good question.
Okay. So, in the spirit of focusing on what you want, I am focusing on that surprise that we all had the other day when they said that Iowa, Kamala has gone over Trump in Iowa. I didn't say that right, but I know what I'm trying to say. She's winning in Iowa. So I focus on that because people have been talking about the 7 states that they needed to win. They never did put Iowa in there. So I'm focusing on that. So she's won that. And then
in the polling, only in polling,
in
no
the
votes,
polling.
no votes cast. Well,
Yeah.
maybe they're cast, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, I'm focusing on the win, so that's why I speak in winning terms. But also in Nevada, because I've already prayed and I believe it's done. And for me, that was something that I didn't even ask for. I asked God for the battleground states. And so now we see what's happening in Iowa. So I'm just happy about that. And I'm also focusing on the people that they don't think about, like those that's unpolled. You know, a lot of us say, well, we've never been polled, but there's been enough people talking about what she's doing and even herself talking about what she's going to do that it got them out. And then I've seen some things even with the young. I am so proud of them and what they're saying because they've been on some of the right television programs and things like that. And so I'm like, there you go. That's my future. So, and then let's not forget those who always vote, the older ones.
Yeah.
So I believe all of those help for us to live this quiet and peaceable life that I prayed for. So that's it.
Well, I think you're right about the unlikely voters. I always say this. It's the people that the pollsters don't count on showing up, which is young people, which is certain quantities of black people, quantities of women, and formerly incarcerated persons, the persons that they don't consider likely voters. Those are the ones that that can save the day, that have saved the day before. And there's a lot of day that needs saving, especially if you're in California. Okay, I said I was going to talk about the reparations vote, and I will, but my colleague and friend, Dr. Melina Abdullah, is on the phone. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sister Dominique. I hope you can hear me. I'm just walking back from my voting center. I just voted.
Yay!
I prefer to vote in person. So I went down to the voting center and voted, and I've been talking to people on the way and on the way back and get my steps in, too. So I voted for Cornel West for president.
And yourself for vice president. And yourself for vice president.
Yeah, but I got a long name. So what's terrible is there's a character limit on what you can write in.
Oh, I didn't know
my
that.
name doesn't even fit.
Oh,
but
wow.
That's okay. All you need is Cornel West.
Well, look, I mean,
for it to count.
How did that feel? I mean, is that the first time you voted for yourself?
Yeah. I've said I would never, ever, ever run for office.
Yeah,
I would only do it. I'm only doing it because I believe in Cornel West, and I believe in our policy pillars and our platform of truth, justice, and love. And I believe in disrupting the corporate-owned duopoly. And so, that's why I'm running this time. And we're on the ballot in 16 states, like printed, and then write-in in about 35 other states. So it's really exciting.
I never knew you had to be like a registered write-in candidate. I would write people in all the time, and I guess it added up to nothing. So I didn't realize you had to be officially accepted as a write-in candidate.
I didn't either. That's why I guess Angela Davis isn't president, huh?
One of the reasons. I'm really concerned about some things going on in California too. I know you are too. It feels like the backlash just feels really intense right now.
There is an intense backlash, and I've actually said and been on a kind of tirade on Instagram over the last couple of days that even though it felt really wonderful to vote Cornel West for president, I actually think the most important thing on the ballot for LA County voters is our district attorney. And we have to vote George Gascon, give him 4 more years as district attorney. We stand to lose so much if Nathan Hochman, who you've rightly pointed out, these are MAGA talking points that he's speaking from. He is funded by, police associations who want to criminalize our folks and don't want to be held accountable. Under Gascon, we've had more prosecutions of corrupt and brutal and even killer cops than any other district attorney before him. So we've had 5 prosecutions of police who've actually killed our people and more than 100 prosecutions of corrupt police. We've also had, the end to sentencing enhancements, which have brought people home who should be home. Like Prince Akili, who's the co-founder of our Black Lives Matter prison chapter, and snatched out of his seat as a 15-year-old 10th grader for a non-murder and then imprisoned for 17 years. He'd still be in prison. His first eligible release date was 2036 until Gascon said, if children are being tried as adults and they're being held on nothing more than enhancements, they come home. Prince Akili has been home for 2 years. He's working, he's organizing, and now we're trying to get him enrolled as a college student. I said he needs to become a lawyer so that he can advocate for little boys like him, like he was when he was targeted by the system. So we have to reelect George Gascon. It's probably the most immediate impact that we'll feel as especially Black people if Hochman wins. It's going to hurt our community. So we have to reelect George Gascon.
Yeah, I think that's right. I know you probably have a few more things to say about your campaign while you're on my phone.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a tremendous opportunity, and I understand people's fear around Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I've been unabashed in calling him the devil incarnate. I understand that. And, we also have to remember 3 things. 1, we don't owe anyone our vote. And so it's important that if you are a no on genocide, that we vote for no genocide, that there is no yes vote for genocide. And both major parties are pro-genocide parties. So we don't owe them our vote.
Well, yeah, okay, let me just push back on that a little because it's election day, Dr. Melina Abdullah. Number one, to me, and I know you don't agree with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. To me, Kamala Harris's speech at the Democratic National Convention and subsequent comments have created some daylight between her and Biden. She has at least called for self-determination and dignity. So to me, that's pretty far away from the mainstream Democratic position so far. So I think that's, yes, I understand. I've been having this argument with several people that she's still complicit.
Yes, but she's also
it's still
said, she also said, I stand unwaveringly on the side of Israel. She also has taken $5.5 million in AIPAC money. That's the American Israeli Political Action Committee. Right. She also has said that she will not stop arming Israel. Right. Those are our tax dollars.
But there's no person, there's no candidate in the world that's going to get elected without saying they stand unwaveringly with Israel. I mean, you know that.
Well, maybe it's time for the people to exercise power and say that I'm not with that, and we can change those things. So I think that that's what an investment in a third-party candidate and an independent candidate like Cornel West means. And so, I think that we have to, especially in a state like California, where, I'm going to just put on my political science hat, not my candidate hat. This state is going for Kamala Harris anyway. It's going to go for Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
right?
clearly. But some people feel like she needs wide margins in California and everywhere because these guys are election deniers and cheaters and liars.
But the margin in California is the widest in the entire nation. The polls are in the 70th percentile for Kamala Harris. So it's like, you're pouring water into an already full cup, an overflowing cup. You can use some of that overflow to invest in a third-party candidate. This is an investment, right? This is saying it's not just speaking to the 2024 election. It's saying real democracy is more than two choices that are both beholden to, as you said, they are beholden to Israel. Democrats and Republicans are never going to say, I don't stand.
I mean, I think what Dr. Gerald Horne said earlier is where it has to be dealt with, which is that it's structural at this point.
It's absolutely structural. And a vote for an independent candidate helps to disrupt the duopoly and change that structure.
And what has to be done when it's not election time? I feel like we always have this conversation during presidentials, but I just don't see enough work being done to build third parties in between.
I wholeheartily agree with you, which is why, I backtracked on that. I will never, ever, ever run for office because what we're doing is building an electoral strategy, and Movement for Black Lives and other organizations have been invested for the last several years in what we call electoral justice, recognizing that Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer was right, that electoral politics has to be one tool in our arsenal.
Yeah.
And we do have to invest in the building of third parties. And so we're investing in the building of the Justice for All Party in California and throughout the country. We know that people who register for Justice for All Party, that's cumulative. So if you registered a couple months ago when we were making a big push to try to get ballot access this time, that wasn't wasted. We still have time to register the sufficient number so that Justice for All Party can be on the ballot. We need 73,000 people to register. So we are voting today, but we're organizing every day. And I know, Sister Dominique, you know that I organize every day.
You do.
Every day.
You do.
And
you do.
Politics is now a part of that, right?
And the views and opinions expressed by me are not those by station management, callers, Dr. Melina Abdullah. But in my humble opinion, Jill Stein, if she cares so much about black people, should have stepped the heck aside and let the all-black ticket get her people.
I agree completely. And I think that it's really important that we invest in those who are constantly doing the work. So Cornell West is not going home tomorrow just because the election is over. We've seen Cornell West in the streets for the last 40, 50 years, right? I'm not going home tomorrow. I'm actually going to be at the LA County Board of Supervisors tomorrow advocating for freeing our youth, right? And so we are doing work constantly, and so we should be voting in the people who are constantly invested in the work of Black liberation, in the work of uplifting what Dr. West calls the least of these, right? And doing work to end poverty and secure housing, and do all of the things that create a world of truth, justice, and love.
Dr. Melina Abdullah, good luck to you, and thank you so much for checking in on this election day.
Thank you, Sister Dominique.
You know, this is my reparations voter guide. It's real short. It's real intense. We'll get to that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Politics has become so messy lately, it's hard to find a reason to be hopeful. Hi, my name is Shakira. I'd like to tell you why Adam Schiff gives me hope. My parents raised me to take my right to vote seriously, so I try to stay on top of what's going on. I saw Adam Schiff lead the impeachment and insurrection hearings. He seemed like someone I could believe in. Then I actually met him at the MLK parade in South Central LA this year. Adam listened. He cared. I got to see who he is. He understands the struggle we have with the cost of living, all the parents working extra shifts and taking second jobs to get by. He gets a threat to our democracy and our freedoms. Adam Schiff knows how tough things really are for a lot of us, and I believe he's going to do something about it. It gives me hope, but hope isn't enough. We need to vote for Adam Schiff for Senate.
I'm Adam Schiff, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schiff for Senate.
Did you know that streaming music, ebooks, audiobooks, movies, and more is available for free from the Los Angeles Public Library? With your library card, you can access the latest music and movies, audiobooks and ebooks, graphic novels, comic books, magazines, and more. If you don't have a library card and live in the city of Los Angeles, you can get a digital card online for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
I've treated many homeless patients in the county of Los Angeles. My name is Esme Agonifer. I'm an internal medicine physician. I entered the field of medicine to serve the communities that raised me, and that includes experiencing housing instability. Many people end up on the streets because they have developed serious mental illness. Providing them with resources like Measure A will help move thousands of people out of encampments and into mental health treatment, so they're not a danger to themselves or others. If we don't pass Measure A, homelessness in LA County will increase by 25%. That's thousands more people on the streets, women, children, veterans. That's why Measure A is supported by nurses and doctors like me.
Ad paid for by Yes on A, Neighbors for Affordable Housing and Housing Solutions Now. Ad committee's top funders, California Community Foundation and Western State Regional Council of Carpenters.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, bounce dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry,
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Oh my goodness, you do not want to miss Tavis Smiley's show today. He is on one on this election day. And of course, we will be live with you tonight. Ariva Martin and Nick Corte on the East Coast, live from Kamala Harris Election Night headquarters at Howard University. Tavis Smiley and me, Dominique DiPrima, live in the studio on the left coast, doing what we do. We start at 4 p.m. until we have a bunch of political insiders, regular contributors, experts, Adrian Shropshire, John Wood Jr., Attorney Dion Raymond, and many, many more. 4 p.m. Pacific time, we start, and we are going to keep it going while we keep it going. Okay, so here's my reparations voter slate. And by the way, I have my recommendations on my Instagram at DiPrima Radio, on my Twitter at DiPrima Radio, if you want to see my voting, suggestions, including judges. To me, the reparations, my reparationists, my Cali reparationists, a nationwide reparationist should be looking at yes on 6. This is a loophole. This is closing the 13th Amendment loophole, allowing slavery in prisons or what they call, involuntary servitude, being an indentured servant, whatever you want to call it. It closes the loophole so there can be no forced prison labor. This comes out of the recommendations of the Reparations Task Force. Yes on 6. Right now, it's not winning. We need to, at least according to the polls, which could be phony. But if you're a reparationist, I think we need to put, the phone to our ear and work yes on 6. I believe no on 36 is should be part of a reparationist agenda, because in the event that 6 fails, 36 just aims to fill up those prisons with us so we can be prison labor. Okay, so no on 36. It's taking money away from alternatives to incarceration and putting it into the mass incarceration system. To me, yes on 6 and no on 36 is a reparationist agenda. I'll go a step further and say, if you can vote for Michelle Chambers in 35, that's part of a reparationist agenda. And I know Friday Jones doesn't agree with me on this because of her endorsements, but I put Sade Al-Hawari on that list as well, because I've talked to her repeatedly about reparations and her positions are strong. Her opponent is a corporate Democrat, and we know how that goes down. At the very minimum, yes on 6, no on 36. Time for me to pass the mic to Tavis Smiley. I could talk all day on Election Day. Oh, wait, I am. I'll see you later today. Look, don't be discouraged. Don't be confused. Polls don't know nothing. Polls don't vote. We do. So let's get it done. Polls are open right now until 8 o'clock tonight. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Like my mama, Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Let's do it for the ancestors. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know on Election Day. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump focused on key battleground states as the 2024 campaign concluded. Trump held 4 rallies in 3 states, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Michigan, and Harris spent the day in Pennsylvania holding 5 rallies, ending with an event in Philadelphia with open